Meeting at 6:02, I think.
6 o'clock, that was fine.
With roll call, we have, I'll be presiding over the meeting as clerk. Our president, Amy Amaral, can't make it, but she is here, as well as our other board member, Marcette, Star Marcette, is also here electronically. And we have board members Dela Cruz and Roletto here. So with that, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right.
Motion to approve the agenda is presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Are there any comments? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 All right. Okay.
Audience participation.
Give him on the
Ms.
election.
Marcette, did you have a vote on the adoption of the agenda?
No, I think that's where I wanted to pull something, and I wasn't given the chance.
Okay, I thought I had paused long enough. When we
When
come,
you're on the virtual, it takes a little bit longer to get off mute and stuff.
how about when we come to the consent agenda, you could pull it at that time? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So do we have your approval then on the agenda?
Yes.
And it's unanimous, so we don't have any nay votes, and the motion passes. Next, we'll go to Superintendent News. Dr. Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, members of the board. As most of us here know, we are in the middle of state testing. Our students have been hard at work showing what they know. Of course, we wish them the best of luck on the upcoming assessments and always encourage our students to do their best. High school writing and the science test have been completed. Math and ELA will be, and third grade will be next week. Last Thursday, I had the opportunity to present to superintendents from Kansas and Missouri at their conference in Kansas City. My colleague and I talked about the challenges public education faces here in Arizona and how we are addressing those challenges. It was interesting to hear that the same challenges we face are being faced around the country. Somehow there's, I don't know, happiness and misery. On a more serious note, as you may have heard or seen in the news this morning, one of our students was hit by a car on the way to school at Desert Sunset. He is okay. He does have broken ribs and a fracture in the pelvis. Nothing is life-threatening. He is recovering at a local hospital with his parents and are with him. I cannot encourage safe and alert driving strongly enough, especially during drop-off and dismissal times at our schools. I have spoken to the Buckeye Police Chief today to discuss how we can work together to help better ensure our students arrive at school and home safely each day. And that's my comments for this evening.
And would you like to move on to recognition then?
I sure would. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Clerk, sorry, just have it, yeah. Do we have let's start with our students of the month. We're gonna start off with so the way the rest of students, we're gonna read your name, and then there's a nice little paragraph about you as why you got the award. And then you're going to meet us back there in front of the backdrop and get some pictures, okay? So first off, we have our Tonopah Valley High School Student of the Month, Seth Gonzalez, who's a junior. Seth here? Seth was I really wanted to read this, so I'm going to read it anyway. Seth is an outstanding student who exemplifies leadership, service, and academic excellence at Tonopah Valley. As president of the Law and Public Safety Program and an active member of the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office Cadet Program, Seth has volunteered hundreds of hours in community service and outreach. He has demonstrated exceptional leadership by helping raise over $1,000 for the program and consistently serving as a positive role model for his peers. Seth recently earned a first-place gold medal in criminal justice at the Skills USA Region 5 competition, and he will represent Tonopah Valley at the State Leadership Conference. His commitment to service, leadership, and excellence makes him highly deserving of the Student of the Month. So let's give him a big round of applause, even though his quotes or large screens or?
I'm working on it.
Okay, can we continue? Okay. I know our student from Ruth Fisher is here, 7th grader Ronan Hawkinson. Ruth Fisher Middle School is proud to recognize our Student of the Month, Ronan, for his outstanding dedication and hard work. He continues to excel academically while remaining actively involved in extracurricular programs. He has demonstrated impressive growth on benchmark assessments and has achieved a highly proficient level on both the district math and ELA tests, reflecting his strong commitment to learning and academic excellence. Beyond the classroom, he is a leader both on and off the field. As a leader of the baseball team, he demonstrates strong responsibility, teamwork, and a positive attitude in everything he does. We are incredibly proud of the effort and progress Ronan shows each day. Join me in congratulating him as our Ruth Fisher Student of the Month. Okay, next up we have our Desert Sunset Student of the Month, Lyra Grush, 4th grader. Lyra? Lyra's the bait. Lyra or Lyra?
Lyra.
Okay, I picked the right one. Lyra has been selected as Student of the Month in recognition of her outstanding character, dedication, and commitment to excellence. She consistently demonstrates maturity and responsibility in all that she does, approaching each school day with a clear sense of purpose and a strong desire to learn and grow. She takes pride in her work, maintains a positive attitude, and serves as a role model for her peers through her respectful and focused demeanor. Lyra's determination and enthusiasm for learning set her apart, and her ability to thrive both academically and personally reflects her strong work ethic. She is truly an exceptional young individual with a bright future ahead. Next up, we have our Tartesso Student of the Month, Rowdy Welpley, kindergartner. Rowdy, are you here? He has the prize for best name. We chose Rowdy as our Student of the Month because he has shown tremendous growth throughout the year. He is becoming more confident in communicating his ideas and using words, and is an excellent teammate during group work in STEM. Rowdy consistently demonstrates integrity each and every day. We are very proud of his growth. Join me in congratulating Rowdy. And I have an update on Seth. He's actually at that skills competition right now. That's why he's not at the board meeting. So. And then we have our Winters Well student of the month, second grader, Ezekiel Clendenin, there we go. Zeke has been working so hard all year long on his classroom behavior and academics. He has grown in his ability to collaborate with peers and is helpful to his teachers. He makes friends with incoming students and helps others in school procedures. He has dedicated himself to making growth in reading and math. We are so proud of his hard work. Please join me in congratulating Ezekiel. Mr. Clerk, that concludes the students. Okay, move on to the staff recognition. All right, next we have our staff recognition for March. Excuse me just a second. First off, we have our classified Saddle Mountain Spotlight for March. Jennifer Warren, our health aide at Ruth Fisher. There she is. Okay, you ready? Same procedure. Jennifer consistently goes above and beyond her role as health aide at Ruth Fisher Middle School. While she serves her own campus with dedication and compassion, her impact reaches far beyond one site. She exemplifies what it means to be a true team player in Saddle Mountain. Jennifer is dedicated, reliable, flexible, and always willing to step in wherever she is needed. She actively seeks out resources to support our families and works tirelessly to remove barriers to student success. Most recently, she identified and secured an opportunity for Saddle Mountain families to receive free vision screenings and glasses for students in need. An incredible resource that will directly impact student learning and well-being across our district. Her tenacity, knowledge, collaborative spirit, and heart for service make her exactly the type of employee we strive to have in Saddle Mountain. We are deeply grateful for the positive impact she makes each and every day across our district. Please congratulate Jennifer. Next is our certified Saddle Mountain Spotlight for March, and that is Miss Talia Jerry. Did I say that? Okay, I was afraid I was going to mess up. Our art teacher at Winters Well. Mrs. Jerry returned to teach at Winters Well after taking some time off. She realized she has talents and gifts to help many of our students reach their potential as artists and grow in self-confidence. She joined our special areas team as our art teacher. She has embraced working with students of all age groups and always keeps a positive and loving work environment for all students. She consistently goes above and beyond to create meaningful and engaging art experiences that inspire creativity and joy in her students. Her passion for teaching and dedication to fostering a supportive classroom environment make her an invaluable member of the Winters Well community. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Jerry. And then, Mr. Clerk, members of the board, typically we would have our third quarter star and volunteer of the quarter this month. You might remember that at last month's meeting, we gave our star award, and then our volunteer of the quarter is actually a group of people, and they couldn't make it tonight, so we're going to recognize them at May's board meeting. Okay? That concludes our recognition.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Winters. That's always the best part of the meeting, so congratulations to all the award winners. And if you have other needs and can't stay for the rest of the meeting, we understand, but we'll move on with the agenda at this time, man.
I'd like to pull items from the agenda.
Hang on, Ms. Marcette. We're letting folks clear out from the recognitions.
Are there any calls to the public? I waited. Okay. Since there's no calls to the public, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. And Sarah, do you have
I'd
a,
like to pull the following items out of the consent agenda.
go ahead.
It would be items 6, 7, and 10.
6 and 7 are the traditional parks, I think.
So to make sure I understand what you would want to pull, it's 6 certified personnel report, 7 classified personnel report, and 10 emergency certified teaching employee list for 2026, 27?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that's, I don't think that's what those are the ones you're asking for, Ms. Marcette, based upon the conversation in the study session.
I was expecting number 8.
I didn't think any of them applied to, let me look, 8, certified employee for recommendation for employment. I don't think that applies to what we were talking about before.
Well, that's the non-renewals for art and music.
Okay, well, we'll pull 8 too then.
The certified list went last month, and I think that's what she might.
All right, Ms. Marcette, are you thinking of the certified staff that's recommended for hire for next year?
The emergency substitute, what was it, emergency certified teaching employee, or the emergency substitute certified contract teachers. But I think what I'm looking at is 10. No, or 10, how about, 10.
So your motion is to approve the consent agenda and move items 6, 7, 8, and 10 to the action item. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A motion is second to approve the consent agenda and move items 6, 7, 8, and 10 to the action portion of the agenda. Any comments or discussion?
Well, I can say, the reason I pulled number 6 was the number of resignations that we have listed. I think that's a little more than we've seen before. And on, I'm just going to combine them, and on 7, we have quite a list of certified personnel that also have resigned. And especially on the classified personal report, I mean, these people are just as important as our certified, because they're the ones that are kind of the backbone in doing the work. And if we lose that many, I think we'll suffer in the long run. But it seemed like a long list to me.
Okay. All right, any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Did we lose her?
Ms. Marcette, did you have a vote on that?
Aye.
Thank you.
It's unanimous, so the motion passes. We'll move on then to the, okay, so we approved the consent agenda minus those items. We'll move on to reports, information, and discussion items next.
What
And
happened to 8 and 10?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 10.
6, 7, 8, and 10, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And,
So, and number 8, I'm not sure how this applies to what I was talking about. And what I was talking about was cutting kindergarten to half a day and keeping some of the other things that we had talked about cutting. Instead of that, saving some of our electives and that sort of thing at our different schools. Because the amount of money is
Point of
about
order.
the same. And because
It's
we
not on the
had
agenda.
actually said to the public that this is one of the things that would happen if we didn't get our bond or,
Ms.
I
Marcet?
have a point of order. So just a second.
We'll cover that when we get to the action item.
Yeah,
It's
so
not-
we're not in a discussion mode for each of the action items yet. We'll do number 8 as well as the other ones when we get down further in the agenda to action items, okay? We already voted.
yeah, but you voted and I pulled those 2 items and you didn't give us time to discuss them.
We pulled them to the, further down into the action items, item G of the agenda. And then there'll be individual actions when we get down there. And we'll talk about 6 and then vote on it, talk about 7 and vote on it, 8 and vote on it, and then 10 and vote on it. Maybe I'm
Okay.
not explaining it very well.
No, it's fine.
Okay. All right, so we've approved the consent agenda minus those items, and we'll move on to reports, information, and discussion items. And next is the budget report. Dr. Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, members of the board. Ms. King is at a conference, but she is texting me, so she's watching with some way or another. So I will provide the budget report. Either if you have questions that I'm not able to answer off the top of my head, I can get them for you, or I'll see if I can get them from her, the conference she's at. So I think the main thing here to look at is our M&O and our capital. You can see our remaining balance for M&O is currently at about 2%. So she just said I'm here, so that amount there is what we have to get us through till June 30th. So things are tight, but that doesn't include, we do have those funds encumbered. So really there's not any, if not much room to add any additional expenses from here until the end of the school year. Capital has a little bit more, but then you can see our other fund balances. Happy to take any questions.
No questions?
In this case, the increased fuel costs will hit that quite, last week when I was in transportation, one school bus fuel up is costing nearly $600 right now to fill up an entire bus with diesel. So it's, that's a really big hit to anyone fueling school buses right now.
Any questions or comments?
Go ahead, Ms. Emerald.
What was the cost prior, like previously?
I had to do some math. Hang on.
Well, I was just curious, like how big,
Probably
I
half.
know it's a big hit, but
It was about half that cost, because the cost of diesel's gone up from $3.50 something to over almost $6 now. Yeah, ballpark. And Ms. King confirmed my math on that, so.
Okay, we'll move on then to the robotics presentation. Dr. Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, members of the board. Our strategic plan update for April refers to Goal 1, Strategy 17, which is to develop and implement comprehensive K-12 extracurricular activities. And in our strategic plan, two of the examples we gave were robotics and Odyssey of the Mind. And Mr. Wisser is here to what has become an annual report on robotics. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Wisser.
And travel.
There we go. Dr. Williams, members of the board, thank you very much for having me here again this year. I am going to just kind of give you a rundown of our season, what turned out to be one of our best seasons ever. And I've brought a few of my students. You guys can have a seat for just a minute, and then I'll call you up. You got yours? Okay. One of our kids is on a time crunch, so I'm going to kind of flip the order. I don't know if you guys have the live version of this, or they have like a PDF version?
They have a PDF.
Okay, so it's going to be slightly different than what you've got, but not too much. So we're wrapping up our 12th season of competitive robotics here in Saddle Mountain. We have been doing this a long time, starting with Tortesso back in the 2014 school year, and here we are 12 years later, and what a change. If you look at the growth and the differences between then and now, it's really amazing. But anyway, I always like to introduce why I feel robotics is important. They get a practical application of math and science. They teaches kids how to handle and overcome failure, and that's one of the biggest things, honestly. Some of these kids they don't have those experiences where they're basically, up against their peers and not doing well. So that's a difficult situation for a lot of kids. This is a great way for them to kind of experience that, but also be in a community that's very helpful in overcoming those challenges, which I really like. Teamwork skills and communication. We just got back from a trip from Iowa, from the U.S. Open, the national tournament, which actually had the highest enrollment of foreign teams that we've seen outside of the World Finals. So that was pretty neat that they've allowed a lot of teams from all over the world to come into the national tournament as well. It's a great supportive community where kids can ask other kids how to do things if they don't understand, and for the most part, everybody that we've encountered in the robotics community has been very helpful, especially when we were starting up, and we try to pay that forward as new teams are starting up as well, and we come across them in our tournaments. It gives them exposure to coding and critical thinking, all skills that they can transfer into just about any field as they continue with their education. Here's a picture of our IQ teams. We had 3 IQ teams this year. IQ is the platform to get kids started in competitive robotics. It's a lot like Legos, where the pieces kind of snap together, but you still have all the basic dynamics of robotics with drivetrains and gear ratios and programming and all the different things. It's just they happen to snap together instead of building them out of metal. This was one of our competitions. As you can see, kids all wear a similar themed shirt just based on the colors of their school. Here's our middle school teams coming from, this was one of our booths in Iowa at the national competition. I'll show you some more pictures in just a bit. But for VEX IQ, it is a 3rd through 5th grade, and that will be changing. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. But 3rd through 5th grade, at all 3 elementaries currently, we meet at Ruth Fisher on Tuesdays, and we also added a couple other build days this year. We had some really motivated kids that wanted more and more time, so we tried to accommodate that. But we did meet all together at Ruth Fisher, which has really helped the program. It helps from me having to bounce from school to school every day to where all the kids come there. We've got all the equipment there. We've got all the parts. So that's been really great. We did also start this season with a West Valley Impact, West Side Impact Robotics Expo. Vivian Martinez, you probably know, had contacted me last year about setting up an expo to kind of get all the West Valley schools together that are competing or building in VEX IQ. Not all of them competed, but they all have a program. It was a really great way for teams to come together. There were a lot of brand new schools, some middle school teams that had more experience that were helping out the younger teams. That was a wonderful experience, and I think we're going to try to continue that going forward. We went to 3 regular season competitions, which is the most that we've done in this group, and for the first time ever, all 3 schools made it to the state finals. All 3 schools qualified for the state finals, which was a huge accomplishment. There's about 100 teams registered in the state, and 35 teams, something like that, got invited to the state. So basically about the top 30% of the state, the teams in the state got invited. We also tied a district record for IQ with 2 different awards this year, the Create Award and the Teamwork Runner-Up Award, which I'm gonna have some kids talk about that here in just a second. This wouldn't be possible without the coaches that we have. Obviously I'm there, but we also have a parent coach who is not able to be here tonight, Coach Robert. He's been with our program for 5 years now, between VEX and VEX IQ. He's a huge help. He's head of cybersecurity for Banner Health. So he brings in his experience and has really done a great job teaching their kids, not just programming in block, which is just kind of like snapping puzzle pieces together, but actually learning how to code. We've got 3rd graders that are learning Python and going to competitions, and we've got middle schoolers that we compete against that aren't even doing it in Python. So it's pretty neat. It's a great talking point for the judges. Also Miss Rum and Miss Anthony from Desert Sunset and Winterswell, respectively. I've got one student who's got to get out of here because he's got a baseball game tonight. So I'm going to call up my 2 VEX IQ kids real quick. Oh, no baseball? Oh, well, coming up anyway. I was told a hard out at 6:40, so he had to go. But I've got 2 VEX IQ kids here. This is Daniel and Jace. They're just going to show the 2 trophies that they won this year. Tell you about how they got them real quick and one of their favorite things about robotics. So, Daniel, if you want to step up kind of to the microphone so people at home can hear you. Hi, my name's Daniel.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I won the Teamwork Champion Award. This is how I won it. So we spent a lot of time and hard work building a robot that could do a lot of stacks. And we had like strategies. We had a strategy of where to go and stuff. Yeah.
What was your favorite part about robotics?
My favorite part about robotics was learning how to code in Python.
What grade are you?
4th.
4th grader. 4th grade. Nice job. Jace.
Hi, my name is Jace. I got the Create Award at state finals.
What's it for?
Oh, I got this award from, we judged well. Our notebook was good. We had a good design and an overall good performance at the competition. One thing that I liked was meeting people from around the state in their robots.
Mr. Worcester, there's been a request for a picture before
Oh, yeah.
Daniel leaves, so
Around still? You don't have to leave quite yet?
We can do it now.
You want to do it right now? Okay, go ahead. You guys
not
want
just
to
the students or the... Look, this is Mr. Worcester, so let him, you and the kids.
Oh,
when they-
okay.
Do you want all 4 of the students? They just have. Do you want IQ and VEX separate or all the kids?
Middle school kids haven't talked
Well,
yet.
these are the 2 award winners.
So are they. They're gonna show their awards too.
Okay, let's do it all together then.
Okay, come on over, guys. Come on, Jade and Jade.
Thank you.
All right. So since he doesn't have to leave, I'll go back into what we were going to go. Anyway, so this year's game for VEX IQ is called Mix and Match. It's played on a 6-foot by 8-foot field. There's 2 robots on there at a time for the normal tournament play. And it's a collaborative skills competition. Unlike middle school where you're competing against each other for a better score, this teaches those teamwork skills, those cooperation skills where kids have to work with another school, another robot, another team, come up with a plan, come up with how they're going to attack this game in 1 minute and score the most points possible. Over the course of the tournament, their scores are averaged, and then they're ranked for a playoff. Top 10 teams typically move on to the playoffs. So or 20 if it's a big tournament. In this game, there were 3 different colored pins. They had to stack them, and if by mixing the colors, you could get more points. There were also those gray beams that you're seeing in front of you, I believe, that you could add pins into and create multipliers for your score. I did want to say with Daniel, he was one of the kids who couldn't get enough, and it was such a nice, like, we'd meet on Tuesdays, like, can I come in tomorrow? Can we come in on Thursday? He would come in during my middle school build times. He'd come in, we'd work Friday nights before tournaments. Just such a great attitude, just wanted to learn more and more and more. Jace too, he's been in the program his second year, doing a great job. We're always working to improve the robots, so it's been great. Wanted to run through the results from this season because it was honestly one of our best ever. Not only did we get the 2 awards, which ties a previous past best for our program for IQ, the Robo Scorpions at Winners Well finished 6th in the state, which is huge. Again, about 100 teams registered. Desert Sunset finished 20th, and Tartesso finished 27th. Last year, we were 2nd, 61st, and 87th. So overall, huge movement up the state rankings this year. And second place, 6th place, I mean, that's all, there's a lot of congestion up there, so I don't even consider it much of a loss, dropping down 4 places. So that was huge. I felt that was a big accomplishment, and that all 3 teams made it to the state finals was also something to be very proud of for that program. Here's a couple pictures from the season. You can see the teams competing. The one on the right with the orange shirts, Tartesso, that's our field setup upstairs at Ruth Fisher. The other 2 are the yellow shirt Desert Sunset Robo Yotes is from a competition, and the one up top is the Winners Well Robo Scorpions with their Create Award. So that was our first judged award at a state finals too. So that was all really great things happening. Moving on to middle school. Middle school is 6th through 8th grade currently. We meet 2 to 4 times per week. As the season progresses, we're getting into those 3 or 4 times a week, getting ready for the big competitions. We start the first week of June, and if all things go well, we're competing up until the last week of April. This year, we ended our season in mid-March, which is okay with me as well. It's a long season, also, I have another coach who is just getting over the bubonic plague, he said, so he is recovering. Coach Gosek has been with us now. This is, I believe, his 6th season with us. He's an engineer down at the power plant and has been a wonderful community member helping us grow this program and really taking it to places where I would never have been able to do it by myself. This year's game for middle school is called Pushback. And it's played on a 12-foot by 12-foot field, 4 robots on the field at one time, and it's the high score wins. So 2 red robots, 2 blue robots going against each other. There's a 15-second autonomous window where the robots run by themselves for the first 15 seconds, scoring as many points as possible. The winner of that 15 seconds gets a bonus, and then they proceed with a minute 45 of competitive play. In this game, there was 88 scoring blocks, and you can see those clear goals. There's 2 in the middle that cross over each other, and then the 2 long goals up on the side. There's tubes where they can get the scoring blocks out of, and then those blue and red parking zones as well. Everything has its own point value. This year we went to 6 regular season competitions, and then the state finals, and then we also qualified for the U.S. Open, which you'll hear about in just a moment. Our season highlights, I do keep track of how long we were together. We were together for 563 hours this season. That's all time outside of school, with a few hour exception for state finals, which was actually during a Friday this year. So we did have to miss half a day of school to go to the state finals. But for the most part, that is all outside of school hours. It's a lot of time together. We also moved to digital notebooks this year. In the past 11 years, we've been keeping paper notebooks, and this was a huge move for us. It's not necessarily an easy move, but our kids did a wonderful job stepping into that aspect of design. You can obviously do a lot more in a digital notebook with pictures and computer annotations and things like that. We won 6 awards this year, which ties our best ever for a Saddle Mountain team from 4 years ago. and they were the Design Award, Tournament Champions, an Amaze Award, 2 Judges Award, and a Tournament Finalist. And then both teams did qualify for US Open by the end of the season. I would like to call up my 2 middle school students here real quick. I've got Selman, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Simon. I'm in 8th grade. I'm team captain. This is our award that we got, tournament champion, up at a competition at Tri-City Prep.
In Prescott, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This award, being the best you can be, out-competing other teams, being the best out at the competition.
Yeah. It's only the 3rd time ever we've won a competition and the 1st time in 4 years, so that's a hard one. You can have a lot of things go right and still not win a tournament. So that was a big accomplishment. And then I've got Jade here who would like to talk to you about her award.
Hi, I'm Jade. This is the design award. We got it for an outstanding notebook. I got it at Highland Prep West.
First tournament of the season.
Yeah.
Right? And what did it qualify for?
The notebook.
No, what did we get from that?
We got the invitation to nationals with this award.
So first competition of the season, we were already in on the national tournament. So huge accomplishments there, and that's a big part in her work in the going to a digital notebook, and just really embracing that and putting a ton of effort into it. How many pages was your notebook altogether?
128.
Yeah, it was a big 3-inch binder. We were turning in one of the biggest, definitely the biggest middle school notebook when we were turning those in. So it got noticed, and we got a lot of awards for it. Thank you, guys. All right. Yeah, we can get a round of applause. It was a lot of work. It's a lot of hours put in. Here we are at the state finals. Desert Ridge, like I said, we went to the US Open. Both teams qualified for the 2nd time for the playoffs at the US Open. A couple of highlights. So we spent 11 days. We took from 6 a.m. We met here 6 a.m. the first day of spring break, Saturday the 14th, and we didn't get back till the following Tuesday evening as school was getting out. So we traveled for 11 days, just over 3,400 miles, 8 different states, and we saw 32 different historical points of interest or Americana during that time. The competition has always been at the Iowa West Fieldhouse. We did have a mascot this year, as you can see, and that was actually Jace got to be the mascot. So he was just walking around with the horse mask, and he even got interviewed during one of the breaks, and they asked him where is he from, and what was your response? Yeah, he stayed in character the whole time, so that was great. And he was always looking the wrong way in pictures, which was also very funny. We stopped at the Navajo County Historical Courthouse in Holbrook. We saw the world's largest flip-flop in San Juan, or San John, whatever. Very windy day. Man, it was so windy coming from Albuquerque to Oklahoma City in that school bus fighting 40-mile-an-hour crosswinds the entire day. Unrelenting winds. It was quite the experience. Here we are at the Continental Divide in New Mexico. We went to Cadillac Ranch, but we stayed out there for about 10 seconds. That wind was blowing so hard and blowing all that dust and dirt, it felt like getting hit with little pellets. We didn't stay there long. A couple photos and out. Stopped at the Buc-ee's so we could see what's about to hit Goodyear. We did get to see the world's first Pizza Hut that is now in Wichita, Kansas. It's a museum now, but we still got to walk around and see that. We got to check out the Whispering Bench in Nebraska City. So you can see here, there's kids on both sides, and you could literally turn your head and whisper, and it sounded as if the person was talking right next to you. Just, it was really, really kind of neat. It was blistering cold. You can still see there's still snow on the ground there, but just based on the shape of the bench there, it was really a neat experience. It was really kind of crazy to sit there and hear somebody talking from I don't know, 40 feet away. This was our host house. The kids were so excited to get there, and there was still snow. By the time we left, it was already almost 80 degrees, so that snow was gone by the time we left. This is the Lincoln Monument in Council Bluffs. This is where Lincoln stood with General Dodge determining a westward expansion route for the Union Pacific Railroad back in the 1860s, early 1860s. This is General Dodge's house, where many presidents and high importance figures came and would meet and have dinner and discuss mostly railroad stuff is what General Dodge was working with in the Omaha area. Speaking of Omaha, this was the Durham Museum that we got to go to. It used to be their train station, so as people were coming into Iowa, this would be the first thing that they would get to see. An Art Deco building. It was really, really neat to go through there and see all the different things they had and some really nice exhibits. We did get to see the world's largest ball of stamps in Boys Town, Nebraska. 4.3 million stamps. It was a Boy Scout project back in the 40s. The original Lincoln Highway from 1911. This was how people got from Chicago to the West Coast on that 2-lane brick road. One of the world's greatest candy stores in Omaha is always a big hit. I booked a field trip to a botanical gardens. Not really thinking about the Midwest in March. It has a lot of potential, I'll tell you that, but it was dead. there was a couple little things, a couple little green things sprouting out of the ground, but there was really nothing to see besides these.
Me in the 4th grade, Mr. Visser, in Missouri, we went to the Botanical Garden, and it was just like that, bringing back a memory.
Yeah, it's,
Why did we schedule that?
it is being crossed off the list, we won't go back to that one. But they did have the troll exhibit, which was kind of neat to see. But yeah, lesson learned, it's not like Phoenix in the springtime. We kept up the 4-year tradition of bad haircuts. So it started a few years ago with a haircut, and we're going back to the same place. We actually walked in there, and the ladies at the desk, and they're the same ladies from 4 years ago. They're like, "Oh, the robot team is back." So we're kind of famous at the sport clips there in Council Bluffs, and they asked for a picture with all their haircuts so they could send it to the GM. We did walk the bridge between Omaha and Council Bluffs. The kids had made a snowball and stuck it on the shady side of the house so that they would have the last snowball in Iowa there. You can see it at their feet. And then they pushed it down the hill there and videotaped it to the end. We got to see the Squirrel Cage Jail, which is a 3 layers of discs were cut into like 6 pies so it could hold 18 prisoners. Each one pie-shaped, all the plumbing's through the middle, and it would rotate so they could only have one deputy watch 18 people. So they'd have a straight view up and down, and it would just slowly rotate. And there's only 2 of them left in the country, neither operational, but as museums. So it was kind of neat. We did the Archway Museum in Kearney, Nebraska. And then a new step for us, or a new stop for us, would be we came through Denver on the way home. We went to the step there, standing on there. You can't really read it, but it does say 1 mile above sea level, so that's the county or the state capital, and that where they're standing is exactly 1 mile above sea level. We saw a couple other sites in the Denver area, the Big Blue Bear and Casa Bonita. On the way home, we always stop in Winslow, Arizona, had lunch, stand on a corner, and want to say thank you to our sponsors. These are our sponsors for this year, Wi-Fiber, which is the gentleman from Triad Wireless, his new business venture, Rory Conway, Grace Design Studios, Core Construction, Atlantica Sustainable Infrastructure, and Showtime Imaging were all generous enough to help us out with obtaining our goals this season. I did want to mention we are planning a small change to our robotics program for next year with the restructuring. The middle school program will be a 5th through 8th grade program starting next year, but the interest and the demand for robotics programs is still growing in our district, so I'm planning on also adding a middle school VexIQ team or 2 for next year, depending on how many kids come to tryouts, but also adding VexIQ to Tartesso, provided I can get somebody to help me out over there with the program. So we'll hopefully have even better results, and our first official middle school VexIQ teams should be competing next year for our district, which we've not had before. We've only done elementary VexIQ. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I want to thank you for your support and allowing me to continue this program. And it's been a ton of fun, and hopefully we build on the success of this season and do even better next year.
Questions or comments?
So will you have the, if there's students from Tartesso that want to be in the regular VEX,
Yes.
they'll come over to Bridgefish?
Well, so here's the conundrum with that. So there's a rule in VEX that students on a team have to be students attending the school that they're representing.
Oh.
So I don't know yet what next year looks like as far as transportation, getting kids to come over, but VEX, the middle school VEX program is very expensive to run. I mean, it's very expensive to run a season. We don't have the capacity or the parts or the space to continue to add additional Tartesso VEX teams at this point. That's why I wanted to start a VEX IQ team, so at least they can learn the basics. VEX IQ is much more affordable to get started. And middle school is very, very competitive for VEX IQ. Most schools do that because of the cost. We're one of the, really not a lot of middle schools do VEX just due to the cost of the program. Most middle schools, especially your STEM charters and things, are doing VEX IQ so that they can get more students involved for a lot less money. So because this is possibly just a temporary 1 or 2 year thing, to really pull grants and to start up a program where I don't even think there's going to be room at Tartesso for a robot room. My goal is to at least get started with a VEX IQ program over there. I don't know what transportation looks like yet. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep the, because we'll go down to 2 elementary programs for next year, just Desert Sunset and Winter's Well programs. Problem with that is I don't have my 5th graders anymore. It'll be just 3rd and 4th graders competing. It's like 3rd grade, they don't know anything. 4th grade, they learn a little bit. 5th grade, they start teaching the younger ones. Well, I don't have that option anymore. So it's going to be interesting how next year goes with only having 2 grade levels, you know, basically comprising our teams. But we'll do our best, and we've got a lot of really smart, really talented young engineers in our district, and I'm just trying to keep as many opportunities open and open up additional ones if possible to accommodate that. And that's how I feel like we could run at least another VEX IQ program at the middle school, because we're going from 3 teams down to 2 teams. I feel that we can probably add 1 or 2 teams at both middle schools for next year, and just at least provide some opportunities until we figure out what the long-term plan is for robotics in our district.
Go ahead, Mr. Emerald.
I guess my question is if we're going to add more teams or more coaches, is that going to come out of the fundraising and grants that they get, or is that going to be the district having to pay more stipends?
Great question. Right now, so the only stipend is to run the program. The other coaches use it for 301. So I don't feel that it's going to be any additional cost to the district. At some point, if this becomes a more permanent change, maybe we'll have to reassess, especially if bond and override pass, maybe we could have an additional stipend for somebody to just run the Tartesso side of it. But for now, there's really not too much of a change. We're losing Tartesso as an elementary, but gaining it as a middle school, so I would still need a person from there. Unfortunately, this past year, I couldn't get a teacher interested to help me out from Tartesso. I'm hoping with all the movement coming from, middle school teachers coming from Ruth Fisher to Tartesso, maybe I can get some help over there. A lot of things to figure out, a lot of answers I just don't have yet, but it should not cost the district anything additional, no other stipends. It would just be possible one extra 301, person using it for 301.
Anything else? Mrs. Morissette?
She is off. I have just received, I'm communicating with her right now. I'm not sure exactly what is going on. I just received that text messages.
Was that questions about this item or comments?
I'm trying to.
I prepared my students to answer questions too. If you have any other questions for them while we're waiting, they're yeah.
Add on what I was saying earlier.
Step up so they can hear.
I want to say that my time in robotics has led me to pursue a career in aerospace engineering at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor when I get to college. The engineering concept.
Junior concepts or the
Thank you.
concepts?
Concepts have really led me to pursue I think that
It's all right.
like a career in aerospace engineering that really applies to what engineers do day to day at their job. So just want to say that robotics has really pursued me to lead into mechanical engineering and aerospace engineering. So,
Very cool. We have a couple students who've gone through the program that are, one of them is he's in the nuclear engineering program at Idaho State University right now, about to graduate there. A couple other kids who are now, we've been doing this 12 years, that are starting to look at college and beyond, and I can't say 100% that it's because of X, but it definitely didn't hurt that they had those experiences and kind of learned it earlier than most, and something that they might be interested in for a future career. Was there any other questions from Stein?
It doesn't look like it.
Do not think so.
Some incredible accomplishments.
Thank you very much. These kids work really hard, and it's a lot of hours, it's a lot of time, but we have a lot of fun and eat some really good food on our trips, and we see some really cool stuff. So
Very exciting. We'll see what you come back with next year.
sounds great. I appreciate your support, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you.
That's true, too.
Mr. Clerk, could we take a minute and 30-second restroom break before the next item?
We'll take a short break here before we go into the next item.
Get to eat. Turn off my mic. I'll let you. Trying not to, but he's trying to cut weight, so I told him, we're doing that one back for a while. I said, by the time we go back, hopefully we'll One Friday night, he goes, how many things do you do? Hockey time down at the good basketball. I mean, we're going there. You have to have a lot of spring break. Oh, handles. You know about that? I told me about it a long time ago, we just never went. So I looked it up on my phone, I was already surprised. I sent it to the nationals, probably. Fell in love with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, so that's really good, yeah, it was really good. He ends up being a big believer, I'm gonna try other ones, there's a lot of flavors. I turned mine off too.
Okay, we'll get back to the agenda, and we were in reports, information, discussion items, and we have ASBA political agenda.
What's so funny, Mr. Blackson?
Isn't it the same as last year?
So the request from ASBA was to review the 2026 ASBA political agenda, which I've attached to the item here, to either reaffirm or come up with 5 different priorities that the board had from last year. We've included the 5, and then the additional proposal was to fund full-day kindergarten. I'm not going to read the 5 to you unless you request that. So really the discussion, I guess, is does the board wish to keep those same 5 plus the additional proposal, modify those at addition, so that I'm at the board's will on that. That's for you guys to discuss.
Okay. All right, let's see what the board's will is. Any comments?
I have none.
No comments here from,
Mrs. Amaral says she doesn't have anything. Mrs. Marset, she said has comments, but I don't see her. Mrs. Amaral stated she did not have anything to add or modifications. I've resent the invite to Mrs. Marset twice and to 2 different email addresses, so if we want to wait a few seconds, I'm a bit of a loss at how to proceed.
so if the board's willing, I think what we can do is we can move on and we'll just go back to an agenda item if she rejoins us and wants to discuss it. Would that
Okay, I think
sound
that's fair.
acceptable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so there's no action on this, but it sounds like there's just agreement to resubmit what we did last year.
And we will do that.
Okay. So then we will move on to action items. And the first one is the trust policy manual. And we had our study sessions on this. We've got our final documents. It's recommended for the board to approve. Dr. Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, members of the board. As Mr. Blackson said, we had our several hours and hours of study sessions to review these documents. Ms. McLennan from the trust has taken all the board's feedback and updated them accordingly. Everything's cleaned up, ready for publish. This manual would go into effect July 1st, so we would finish out the school year under the current manual, and then July 1st, the new one would go into effect, which gives us, we're in April, several months' time to go into every single document that we have in the district that references board policy and make the appropriate adjustment, which is going to be a lot, but that's what we'll be doing. So we have time, we have some time, but the trust did go into, was it the handbooks, Ms. Jiggly, the student and staff handbooks? And they've put the policy, we don't have to hyperlink it, but that took out a lot of time to go searching for it, so that's there. But the recommendation is to approve the now completed trust policy manual.
Any comments before we have a motion? Hearing none, is there, I would suggest that the effective date, July 1st, be included in the motion. Do we have a motion to approve the trust policy manual?
I make a motion that the board approves the trust policy manual effective July 1st, 2026.
I'll second. Oh, okay.
We have a motion and seconds. Any last opportunity for comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, the vote is unanimous.
We're gonna count that as a fourth.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll have to show that,
I let her, yeah, I let her know.
I have
Abs-
the timer.
all right. And so just a reminder, we'll come back to this if we need to. Next action item is the boundary changes for the district. Dr. Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, members of the board. This is a technical requirement. When the board approved the reconfiguration, it would be understood that the boundaries would change, but we are required to do this as well. So, and per our review from the last policy, we have posted this in the required locations and sent it out on our communication platform. Excuse me, all students, there's no change to Tonopah Valley. All the students will continue to go to Tonopah Valley. The current Winners Well boundary will be the new Ruth Fisher boundary. The Tartesso and Desert Sunset boundaries will be combined, with the K-4 students going to Desert Sunset and the 5-8 students going to Tartesso. And this will also include the Teravalis communities. So that would be, which is essentially what the reconfiguration did. This just kind of codifies what our boundaries will be.
I make a motion we approve the South Mountain Unified School District boundary changes as described.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or comment? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
And that motion passes, it's unanimous. Next, we have an action item for health insurance, along with the presentation. Dr. Winters?
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, members of the board. The district did go out to bid or an RFP for health insurance this year, and we've recently wrapped up that process and have a recommendation for the board this evening. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Spielman to present the findings from our process.
Good evening, President Amaral, members of the board, Dr. Winters, and Gus. Do you have the presentation to pull up for me, please? Thank you. I don't know it off the top of my head. So like Dr. Winters said, we were up for an RFP this year for some of our benefits, so we went out for an RFP for everything just to kind of see what was out there. Go ahead. So ASBATE previously, a couple years ago, had promised a 2-year no-rate increase. That was up this coming year for FY27. So again, just kind of seeing what's out there. Cap5 Consulting did help us with that. So they're the ones that put out the RFP and reviewed all of the information that came in, which I am very thankful for, because we ended up receiving a total of 23 proposals. I have it broken down there, 5 medical, 15 dental, 13 vision, 12 short-term, 7 life, and 11 voluntary. Obviously, there's some overlap there where some companies had multiple, for example, medical and dental, or dental and vision, but that was just the breakdown. Having good benefits, as we know, helps with recruitment and retention of staff and helps support our employee health and wellness. We want our employees healthy so that they can come to work for our students. So in the initial review,
Yes, I've got you, Ms. Marcet.
Okay.
Okay.
in the initial
So they
review,
might have gone by it already, but I wanted to talk about number 2.
Yeah, we're on the number 3 of action. We're going to come back, I don't know, number 2 of the action or the number 2 of the discussion items, Ms. Marcet?
Number 2, the discussion items.
That's robotics. Did you mean number 3?
No, number 3, yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to it.
Okay, thank you.
so the initial review, when our consultant from Cap5 presented the information, ASBATE had a 2.9 increase to the district, which is a total of $79,092, sorry. The Banner Copay Gold Plan is no longer available. We have a handful of employees on that this year. When we did open enrollment going into this year, we did let the employees who are on that plan know that this was going to be the last year of that plan. That is our buy-up plan, which currently has no deductibles, but the employees pay premiums every month towards that plan. It's being replaced with the Banner Classic Gold, which will include a $500 deductible for individuals and a $1,000 deductible for families, with the max out-of-pocket of $3,200 and $7,400 respectively, but that is a decrease of the max out-of-pocket. So although it went from a $0 deductible to $500, it significantly decreased the max out-of-pocket that the employee is going to have to pay. The Banner Copay Gold has lower copays for primary care specialists, labs, x-rays, and urgent care for our staff members. So again, although there is now a deductible, overall, we believe it's a better plan for our employees, less out-of-pocket costs when they do go to the doctor. We're keeping the Value Gold and HD, the high deductible health savings plans, and there's no changes to either of those plans. So the deductibles, the max out-of-pockets, everything is staying the same on those two plans. Some of the considerations that we had in looking at all of the proposals is the financial impact to both the district and our employees. We didn't want to pass cost on to employees by lowering our cost to the district. We did talk about something called an HRA, which I had never heard about, for our PPO plans. Somewhat similar to an HSA plan in which the district could contribute money, but in an HSA plan, that money is now the employees, right? But in an HRA, it stays with the district, and then the employee could get reimbursed for those doctor's visits. However, that was going to be about a $300,000 or $400,000 cost to the district, so we're just not able to do that, unfortunately. So we'll keep it the same as the proposal. The other consideration is that employees currently have established relationships with providers. So changing to another plan or another company could create some stress for staff members and having to find new providers and going over past health history, family history, and all of that kind of stuff. So that we did take that into consideration as well. For our ancillary plans, we have dental. We currently have MetLife. We're going to stay with that. That was the best option. It actually has an 8% decrease in premiums for our employees, so a little bit of savings there. And they are giving us a 2-year rate guarantee if we package it with vision. So currently we have a Visas for vision. But we are asking for a recommendation to move over to MetLife, so it'll be the same as our dental plan. And then that'll give us that 2-year rate guarantee, and it drops the rates for the employees even more if we package it with the vision. The frame and contact allowance moving to MetLife will increase to $200, so it's a $25 increase for frames and contact lenses. And it's a decrease of about 3.6% in premiums for the employee. So again, it's maybe pennies per paycheck, but every little bit helps, right? And then they'll actually give us a 4-year rate guarantee on the vision. So that was very good to see. Short-term disability, life, and accidental death and dismemberment. So voluntary short-term disability, our current provider actually did not bid. They tried to give a renewal, which actually forfeited them from being able to be considered. So therefore, in looking at and comparing all of the different providers, it looks like Symetra had the best deal. I can't really give you a cost because it is dependent on age. There are certain ages where cost will increase, such as for women, unfortunately, baby birthing ages. Cost goes up for this, and then as we age as well, it goes up. But it will be a decrease in rates by 15% for our employees if they choose. And this is an option for employees. They don't have to get voluntary, any of these options, but it's there if they want it. Basic life insurance, the district currently provides $30,000 of life insurance to each of our employees, and that's actually decreasing as well. So that's going to be a cost savings of $21,000, almost $22,000 to the district. for the basic life insurance that we provide. Voluntary life and accidental death and dismemberment. Again, increase of guaranteed issue for employees to $150,000. So I know that that's important for some of our staff. They won't have to answer health questions, background information, and they can get up to $150,000 if they choose to do the voluntary life. Again, decrease in premiums pretty much overall, but again, dependent on age, but through all the age groups, it was a decrease in those premiums. And then we'll also keep AFLAC as an option for our employees. If they choose to have AFLAC, that nothing will change in that. So that's you see the commercials all the time for AFLAC. If you end up in the hospital or any kind of emergencies like that, where you're gonna be out for a longer time. Our open enrollment dates, we are looking to start open enrollment on April 28th, so that'll be at the end of the month. Yesenia, our benefits specialist, and I just sat down today and looked at our calendars. That first week, she and I will be visiting each of our school sites as well as transportation. We'll be sitting there for several hours at each site with our laptops, helping our employees enroll for benefits, answering any questions that they have. Our consultant is also reaching out to representatives from ASBATE and some of the other vendors to see if they can be on site as well to help answer questions and support our employees in making those selections. The window will close May 12th. It is active enrollment, which means that all of our employees do have to go in and make the selections, even if they're planning to keep everything the same. So we'll make sure to make that a point when we go out to the school sites and in all of our communication to the employees. So the recommendation, before we get to questions, is that you accept the proposal of staying with ASBATE and going with the other vendors. But if you have any questions, hopefully I can answer those for you.
I have none.
None? No question. And Ms. Marcette is?
Ms. Marcette, any questions?
No.
Okay.
Okay. With that then, there's recommendation to the board to approve the health insurance updates as identified in the presentation. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that the board approves the health insurance updates.
I'll second.
Okay. Last opportunity for a comment or a question? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. That is 5 aye votes, so that's unanimous. And let's see, we need to go back to reports, information, discussion items. Number 3, ASBA political agenda, I believe.
Yes.
So I'd like to open that discussion item back up. And
Thank you.
Mrs. Marcette?
And
Alicia, can you go back to that one?
Yeah, the item is number 2, oppose regulations, policies, and restrictions that overburden or unreasonable.
That number 2.
Yeah. And my thought on this is, sorry, but the board is the one that should oversee this. And so my thought is the superintendent would say whether the policies or whatever we want to do penalizes education support staff, so that would come from you.
Ms. Marcette, I think the way this number 2 is written, it's actually, I'd say, trying to be a little nice. I think what this is really getting at is legislation that's overburdensome and unreasonably penalizes educator support staff. So I don't think the intent of this is meaning board policy. I think the intent of this is legislation, so I could see a recommendation to change oppose legislation that overburden or add that in there. But that I believe to be the intent. I think this was a way to write it a little softer than that, but that is really, when you talk to people, that's what the intent of this measure, of this item is.
Well, I don't think that intent is clear, because what I see this is, and we talked about it before, if a board member wants information, it has to be seconded, and then you would come back to the board and say, you know, this is what it's going to take to provide you with this information, and then the board would agree or disagree as to move forward with receiving the information.
This is for the ASBA lobbyists to deal with the legislature, the Arizona State Legislature.
Then it needs to be written clearer, because the way I look at it, it doesn't say that.
So what can we do? Then oppose legislation, regulations? Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ms. Merced.
Oppose legislation that would restrict, my computer, that restricts, overburden, or unreasonably penalize educators and support staff as they educate and care for students.
Is that agreeable change?
I think that is more in line with the intent of that, of the lobbying efforts, for sure.
So this is a discussion item, and it looks like we have agreement to make that change, so when it gets submitted, we'll strike those other words and put legislation in there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good catch. Thanks. All right, we went through action items on the trust policy and the boundary changes, and just finished up health insurance, which I think you caught. So now we're ready to go back to the consent agenda. And the first one you pulled was item 6, certified personnel report.
Right, and the reason I pulled that is because I'm looking at, let me get it here.
Go to number 6.
Yeah, I'm looking at resignations, and to me, that seems a lot more than we normally have. And then if you look on number 7, if you look classified.
Can we do one at a time, Ms. Merced, please?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we need to vote on each one separately.
Okay, well, I think it just looks like a lot more than normally we see, and I'd just like to know what, if any, that we can contribute that to.
Ms. Merced, a couple of things. We can't, in open session, discuss really specific people's personnel. However, I would say that for this time of year, this is no different than what you would typically see. This is the time of year where people are either choosing to sign or not sign their contract. So those resignations are people that are not returning for next year. This is pretty common. I can give you some general reasons just looking at the list. Somebody's having their second child, so instead of having daycare, they're staying home. One person got a $10,000 raise from a district down the street that we cannot compete with. One person, their visa expires, so they have to go back to another country. I mean, there's just a wide variety of reasons as to why. Actually, 2 people got a $10,000 raise. Now I'm looking at the list. So, I mean, I can't go into every single person, but that gives you some of the general reasons. And for this time of year, this is I think it's actually a lot less than it typically is.
It's actually the same number.
Oh, Ms. Spielman, as when? It's the exact same number as last April's. We went back and checked.
Okay.
And Ms. Spielman just pointed out that on the retirements, 2 of those people are coming back on ESI. So while there are 4 there, 2 of those are coming back to work. I can say who, right? Is that?
No, that's fine. I don't need to know who.
Yeah, so two of the 4 retirements are returning to work.
Okay, yeah, I don't need names.
So this is not an atypical example of April certified personnel report.
Okay, so what about our 7, our classified personnel report?
But we need to vote on number 6, Ms. Barcett, before we move on to number 7.
Okay.
Any further discussion on consent agenda item number 6?
I make a
Is there a
motion.
motion?
Yeah, I make a motion we approve the certified personnel actions presented.
Second, she seconded.
We have a motion and a second to approve number 6 on the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Did we get?
She's good, yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So that's unanimous. All the board members voted aye. And let's go on to number 7. Ms. Morissette?
And I'm not seeing what I saw before. Again, it was the number of people that were resigning.
Would you
And I don't
pull up number
see it
7?
now. Yeah. So it's in like a long list compared to the other one. But I'm not seeing it now, so I don't know where it is.
And again, our classified personnel from every month tends to have a lot of movement. I don't see anything here that's out of the ordinary here either.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Maybe I was delusional, but I thought I saw something else. So we can just strike that one.
All right, so let's have a motion then. Yeah, let's have a motion to approve consent agenda item 7.
I make a motion that the board approve the classified personnel action as presented.
Second.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And that's unanimous. So let's move on to consent agenda item 8. Certified employees not recommended for employment.
And number 8, I don't have a problem with that. What I was looking at is number 10.
Okay. Yeah, I had mentioned that because at the study session, we talked about some loss of electives, and that's where this is going to happen with this
Okay,
action.
well, if that's the case, and you think that's the place to do this, it was my thought that given losing teachers, that we might look at a substitute by putting kindergarten half a day, because it looks like it's the same number for kindergarten half a day as to cut electives and teachers. And so because we had already said during our campaign that would be one of the things that would happen, and if we kind of say, well, it's not going to happen, then it's like people will say, oh, they're just trying to scare us or whatever, and we're not doing anything like we had promised or had said we would do.
The thing is, the override is not gone yet. Only a third of it's gone.
Yeah, well, you can't plan on the override being passed, because last year, or this year, whatever, we walked the neighborhood, we had people everywhere. We did almost everything we could think of doing, and it still didn't pass. And so, we can't count on it passing again. And if it does pass, then we can reinstate kindergarten. But I just feel like, that was our big thing. We said that we're going to cut kindergarten to half a day, and I'd rather do that than cut programs for our students.
Ms. Marcet, Mr. Rowe is referring to the idea that the not counting on the override passing, but that we still have 2/3 of the override for next year, and then we'll have 1/3 the following year before it goes down to 0. And then Mrs. Amaral had a comment.
I just know that when we had talked about this before, that the full day kindergarten, if we cut that in half, and we're already short funding, that we would lose even more money, because the older kids, their parents would pull them if they didn't have full day kindergarten for their kids. So we would risk losing more money because we'd lose more students.
That was our ultimate conclusion.
Yeah, and that is a possibility. Have we ever cut anything before that? You said we'd cut kindergarten half a day before. What were the consequences of that?
My understanding, and somebody who's been here longer can jump in, is that because the state only funds half-day kindergarten, the district had only half-day kindergarten, and then an override was passed, and full-day kindergarten was added. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and we've maintained full-day kindergarten to the best of my memory ever since, and that would have been in the late 80s or early 90s.
One of the teachers told me early 2000s she taught half-day kindergarten.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
But it's been 20 plus. It's been a couple decades at least.
a while.
We're splitting hairs at this point.
Okay.
Well, I just think we better be more careful about what we put on this information when we're giving it out to the public about what would happen if these bonds didn't pass, or these overrides didn't pass, because cutting kindergarten to half a day was one of the things we said would happen. And if it's not going to happen, then we're putting false information out there.
No, it will happen.
It will happen. it will happen. But the caveat too is if we gain, let's say, we wake up August 15th and we have 400 new students, that increase in funding would offset the no override. So even if we say the override doesn't pass, then the board have to decide how do we actually want to spend that increase in funding. So even that's not even 100% guarantee. There's nuance to this depending on all kinds of different scenarios. When we put out information this year, assuming the board calls for an election next month or in June if we have that long, then we could start to say, this is what's happening for next year as a result of no override and no bond passing. This is what's going to be the result in year 2. And honestly, year 3, I haven't even been able to wrap my head around yet because it just scares me to think of what we're going to have to cut by year 3. So that will definitely be very well communicated. The 3 main things we talked about with the override was full-day kindergarten, increased class sizes, and electives. And 2 of those 3 things are definitely happening for next year. And then we completely reconfigured the school district to basically, for 1 year, be able to prevent full-day kindergarten from passing. So what we did communicate was accurate. Ms. Amro?
Is there any way, or I know you were looking at other ways for programs if we didn't have the money in our budget of, where the kids, we could have programs where the parents pay or whatever to try to keep it and maybe as a club and not as a class. So are we looking at alternatives?
Yes, definitely. I have had one meeting with kindergarten teachers so far just to kind of brainstorm ideas. While we might have, so the key is free full-day kindergarten. We could decide to have some sort of paid full-day kindergarten in the future, but I believe in doing things right and not fast. We would have had maybe a 2-month runway to come up with a way to pay for full-day kindergarten. But this way, we have time. I know we're veering off the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Well, I'm just going to say, because this is what I think, that we actually had on that list of things we were going to cut if it didn't pass, and one of them were definitely full-day kindergarten. And I still feel, and we had said other things, but I still feel that the other things, and you had said it was the same amount of money, $350,000. I still think that cutting kindergarten, and I realize we're taking the risk of people pulling their kids out of school, but there's also the factor that we're going to have our Tartasso Middle School go to school there. And so that's going to be a plus. And we can always add it back in, but I just feel like we're putting out wrong information out there, and people are looking at it and saying, this is what the district said, and now they're backstepping. And I'm sure some people will be happy, but I just don't like putting out false information to scare people.
Yeah, Mrs. Marset, I need to pull us back into the agenda item, and I don't want to get into issues with the open meeting law here. So our agenda item is really these non-renewals. But we could, if you want to talk about full-day kindergarten some more, we could put that in a future agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Whose is it?
With that then, is there, did you have anything else on the non-renewals? That's number 8 on the consent agenda?
No, just 10.
Okay.
I make a motion we approve the certified employees not recommended for employment list.
I'll second it.
Second.
Okay, we have a couple seconds on the motion to approve consent agenda item number 8. Any last comments? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All right, that is unanimous, so it's all ayes. And let's move on to consent agenda item number 10.
So I have a question at the end of here. Our school rules of parliament procedures provide for a consent agenda listing several items for approval of the board in a single motion, items may be removed from the consent agenda. But how come we don't have a list?
The list of executive content, I can't have it on the screen right now because we're not in executive session.
Okay, then I think this needs to go in executive session because I think it's important that we know how many non-certified teachers are becoming certified under the emergency certification.
We don't have an agenda item to go into executive session.
No, I'm saying, but we could, we don't have to go in it today. I don't know. I just think it's important, and we can put this on another agenda, and it doesn't have to say the same thing, but I think we're entitled to know the number of unclassified teachers or uncertified people that are being put into emergency certification so that they can teach.
Mrs. Marset, I think you're confusing two things here. If you're in board docs, we just can't display it because it's executive content. There are 3 people. They have been teaching in the district, couple of them for 3 or 4 years now. One will be her second year. This is not somebody, these are people who already have emergency teaching certificates or are in programs to become teachers. These are not people who are becoming anything. They are currently employed by the district and have been for several years. And the total there is 3.
Okay.
We could text names probably if you would like.
No, I don't care about the names. The number is important to me.
Okay.
I guess the next question though is, and maybe it's not under this item, but I'm going to ask, how many of our people that we've done emergency certifications with are attending the school, the university to get their degrees because that's part of their contract?
Of these 3 people that are on agenda item, consent item number 10?
I would have to look into that and get that information for you, but it's not part of their contracts.
I think all 3, but I don't want to give an I know it's all 3, but I'm pretty sure it's all 3. We'd have to verify that though.
Yeah, can we follow up on that?
Yeah. And Ms. Marset, Marset, this is the reason why we need to, if you have questions about the agenda, to talk to the superintendent ahead of time, so you could get that kind of information.
She's not here.
Well, it's been kind of hard to do. I did get stuck 3 times. One was that the tow truck got stuck and it cost me $800. Yeah. And then, I've been working nonstop, so it's not an excuse, but it's been hard for me to make connections, so I apologize.
Yeah. Well, we can add these to the next agenda too, if you would like, so.
That would be wonderful, and I'd also like to add how many teachers within the district are not complying with the contract of attending the university for a teaching degree.
Can I answer that's not part of the contract?
That's not my understanding. It is part of the contract that they have to finish up.
No, it is not.
Yeah. Well, why don't we do just a follow-up where we can have a discussion item then about the emergency certified teachers.
But we need to approve these people so they can be employed for next year. Okay.
Okay.
But we can,
Well,
yeah.
you can employ them. That's not my question. I just want to know how many of them have been registered and are attending.
Okay. All right, are you good?
Yes.
All right, so let's have a motion then on consent agenda item number 10.
I make a motion that the board approves the emergency certified teaching employee list for 2026-27.
Is there a second?
Oh, second. All right.
Okay, I think we're good on discussion, so all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, that's unanimous, so we have all 5 board members said aye. And let's see, we're going to go down to future meetings and events.
Mr. President, members of the, or Mr. Clerk, sorry, Ms. Emerald, I'm just used to saying that. Our next board meeting is May 13th here in the boardroom at 6. It's already starting to get time where we have end of year and graduation and things of that nature coming up. I just want to thank the board for all their time and effort into going into revising and evaluating the policy manual. I think we spent 7 or 8 hours on that, so that was a great deal of time and effort. I want to remind the board that in May is also when we have an executive session for the superintendent's pay performance and goals for the upcoming school year. And hopefully that'll be the only topic on executive session next month.
Okay.
I'd also like to add something. I think we need to talk about a board retreat.
Okay. Are there other board comments?
I just wanted to say thank you, Dan, for filling in for me and allowing me to care for my daughter. And thank you, Dr. Winters, for making this available for me to join.
Of course.
Okay. Any other board comments?
Yeah, I assume you all got emails from Shirley Boggs, the superintendent of public, okay.
Yeah.
And then they called me today. I already signed up, and they called me again today to see if I wanted to sign up. It's in Tempe. So,
Okay, any other board comments?
No, I'm ready to come back. I hate Alaska. I've gotten stuck 3 times and I'm sick of it.
Well, you'll be thawed out when you get here.
Yeah, it was 95 here today, so not to rub
I don't want to hear it.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion
I'm
that we
going to
adjourn.
adjourn.
second.
We have a couple motions to adjourn in 1 second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion passes, we stand adjourned.
Thank you, Ms. Marcette. Good night. Thank you, Ms. Emerald.
You know.
Bye-bye.
Too slow, Paul, too slow.